like explain the jump from being a classical therapist to now kind of being, in the water? It's surf therapy, but you also do other programs. But if you want to, just start with surf therapy, like, well, how did you think about that?
There's a few foundational pieces to surf therapy. One is it's really meditative. It stops. It makes you take time in the moment, right? We understand that the best work we do is when we're really present. So it's a place where the ocean demands that you're present. You can't sit out there and not pay attention. You could get really hurt. So it's this really natural environment to have a meditative state. Years ago, we did a ropes course. I also ran this teen outreach program where I would do group work. And I really got to understand that when people get into an activity, they get out of their head also. It allows for a different type of learning. My biggest thing was understanding, somebody introduced me to a book. It's called Eastern Body, Western Mind. It's by Anodea Judith. And she really gets into energy and the chakras and things like that. And so I'll be the first to admit I'm not a chakra guru. I'm not an energy guru, right? I'm a therapist. But she really spoke to me. And there was this concept in her book. It's called a body of armor. And she would explain it a lot better than me, but really what I've taken from it in my work is that our emotions are stored in our muscles, in our skeleton. And when we hold on to emotions and we don't move through it, right, we hold on to things and we almost get stuck. And what happens is over time, we develop these like tension patterns from stress, right? It could be small stress. It could be these huge things that we haven't dealt with yet. And it lives in you. And essentially what happens for people is they develop things like chronic back pain or migraines or stomach aches, right? You hear people say that constantly. And it's like, well, how do you move through it? How do you move through it? And I've done talk therapy for the last 14 years and I've had excellent training and mentors, and that's really cool. But I find that when people move their body in conjunction with trying to do that really spiritual healing, but working through something in your mind, it just helps to move it through you and then you can actually release it. So surfing for me on a lot of levels is really healing. You talk to any surfer, I ask them all the time, what does surfing do for you? And they kind of laugh. And it's this thing in the surfing community that it's really hard to capture what all the things that surfing does for people. And so when I looked to find, some sort of embodiment therapy, a movement therapy, there was something to surf therapy that just really made absolute sense.